Multiplying with fractions. Multiplying and dividing I find a little bit easier than the adding and subtracting. There's a lot less rules to follow, but still you need to pay attention to what you're doing. So again, when we work with multiplying with fractions, change all of your numbers to fractions. This isn't an option with multiplying and dividing. You have to change everything to fractions. No more mixed numbers when we're multiplying and dividing. We're going to take the numerator and multiply it by the numerator. We're going to take the denominator and multiply it by the denominator. So no more common denominators here. When you're multiplying and dividing, you do not need to have like terms. You do not need to have things that are alike when we're multiplying and dividing. Again, that goes through this whole year. They don't need to be alike to work with them. Don't forget to simplify your answer, which means the denominator can't get any smaller. So let's take a look at this first example. 5/12 times 9/10. I'm going to multiply 5 times 9, which is 45. 12 times 10, which is 120. Let's see if I can simplify this and make this denominator any smaller. So 45 and 120 have a common factor of 5. I know because this ends in 5 and this ends in 0. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 120 divided by 5 is 24. I'm going to look again for common factors. They both have a common factor of 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So my final simplified product is 3/8. I could have done this simplifying ahead of time. I could have done that right from the beginning. 5 and 10 have a common factor of 5, and 12 and 9 have a common factor of 3. So I could have done it ahead of time and saved me the headache of working with these big numbers, but you can always do it afterwards if you forget to do it right at the start. Next example, 3/4 times 5. So 3/4 times, remember everything has to be a fraction. I've got to turn that 5 into a 5/1. Multiply across, I get 15/4, or if I want to write it as a mixed number, it's 3 1/4. Last example, we've got some mixed numbers here. Remember, we don't multiply with mixed numbers. We're going to change it into fractions. So 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 gives me 11/2. 4 times 3 is 12, plus that 3 gives me 15/4. I'm going to multiply. 11 times 15 is 165. 2 times 4 is 8. They don't have any common factors, so I can't really simplify this, but I could if I wanted to change it to a mixed number. You don't need to. You can leave it just like this. That's fine. That's our multiplying. Dividing with fractions. Let's talk about dividing with fractions. Oh wait, we're not going to talk about dividing with fractions because we do not divide with fractions. We change it to multiplication. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So no dividing with fractions. Highly illegal. Gives us all a headache. We just change it to multiplication of the reciprocal. So same basic rules as multiplying. First, we're going to change all the numbers to fractions. Next, we're going to change this dividing into multiplication. We're going to keep the first number. This sounds a lot like subtracting with integers. We're going to keep the first number. We're going to change dividing to multiplying. And then we're going to change that second number to its reciprocal. And when we talk about a fraction, a reciprocal means you take the numerator and denominator and switch them. So we're going to flip it on its end. We're going to then multiply, just like we did when we're multiplying, and simplify. Don't forget to simplify. So let's try a few. 5/6 divided by 10/21. 5/6 stays the same. Whoa, division. I'm going to change the division to multiplication, and then I'm going to change that second number to its reciprocal by flipping it on its head. Here I'm going to start to multiply. So notice here I have found common factors first. 6 and 21 have a common factor of 3. 5 and 10 have a common factor of 5. I end up with 7/4. Done. You can change it to 1 3/4 if you'd like to, but you don't need to. And our last example, 10 divided by 3 1/3. Notice 10 is not a fraction. I need to change it to a fraction. So 10/1 divided by, I'm going to change this to a fraction also, 10/3. And now I'm going to change it from division to multiplying. 10/1 stays the same. Dividing changes to multiplication. And that 10/3 becomes 3/10. From here, 10 times 3 is 30. 1 times 10 is 10. I get 30/10. When I simplify that, I get 3.